Call meeting to order. It's 3 o'clock on July 24th. The roll call. Paper.
David Jones,
Here.
Don Edwards,
Here.
Diane Munn, here. Susan Hooper, here. Tony Coe,
Brian Rickard, Attorney General.
Jamie Anderson,
Here.
Tom Phillips, Greg Meineke, Jeff Walters, Chelsea Houston. I believe Chelsea's online.
Here.
Don Kim. Neil. Carol Freeman.
Here.
Courtney Clark,
Here.
Jody Smith,
Here.
Dan Lovett,
Here. We have a quorum. The agenda is before us, and it's my normal, we will take verbal votes. However, any member can ask for roll call on any item at any time. So, any questions about the agenda? Motion by Clyde, second by Grimes. Discussion. All those in favor of approving the agenda indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. Now is the time and place for any members of the public to address the CIWW board and any CIWW related item. Hearing or seeing none, we'll move on. We have before us next the consent agenda, a number of items, number 5A through I. I just want to make note that I sent Caitlin some corrections. Tom Phillips' last name was misspelled in a couple places, so we expect to have the affirmative comment. I didn't see anything else on the benefit. Any questions about the consent agenda? Move approval with corrections. Motion by Clyde, there's a second. Second. Seconded by Johnston. Discussion. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda items 5A through I would indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? The consent agenda is approved. Now move to second page of the agenda. First item up is the resolution approving CIWW becoming a member of the Iowa Public Agency Investment Trust. Amy, anything you'd like to say about this?
The only thing I'll say is that many of you are probably familiar with this investment option for your own communities, and we would like to get CIWW on board so that it is an investment option. No obligation to invest. It requires a resolution and rules and have.
Motion by Anthony. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Grimes. Or both, Jake, so. Further discussion?
I was just going to say that I need to abstain from this item due to a professional conflict.
Courtney Clark going to abstain on this vote, so. All those in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? With one abstention, the motion passes. The second is a litigation claim dealing with the PFAS litigation. Is there somebody on staff who wants to address this?
I can say a few words. This litigation has been going on for a long time. There are numerous litigations going on around the country. They were consolidated into a multi-district litigation in South Carolina. We joined that as West One. They reached settlement with two of the defendants, 300 Pond, good faith estimate for, payments to Des Moines and West Des Moines Waterworks, in excess of $22 million to help mitigate damage from PFAS. I think it's important to note that they reached out to us on very short notice and said we need to file our claims almost immediately, less than a week for us, and over the weekend. I think including a holiday in the middle there. We both had special board meetings, get the claims filed on CIWW's behalf. Essentially, this money will be paid out over a 9-year period, annual installments, and our intention is to put that into the fund that will belong to Central Iowa Waterworks. It is designated but not necessarily restricted to mitigation of PFAS issues in the joint system.
Ben shared a good summary of that, and we'll talk in the CIP that we, West Point Waterworks does the project to limit the PFAS impacts that we've had at West Point Waterworks. We'll talk about that more later. But yeah, I think there are likely to be other settlements with other entities. ICO is one, and I don't know the one that just came in, but we might expect a little bit. There might be some settlements with those companies as well. We don't know those details yet. So we continue working with the attorneys that we have been working with to see if there will be funds available there.
Sue.
Yes, I wanted to mention that the Des Moines Waterworks Board discussed this, and the reason we wanted to bring this forward to CIWW is because the payments will occur over the next 9 years, as was stated, and there may be many changes on this board over that period of time. And so we wanted the minutes to reflect it. We wanted this board to understand the decision, and so that's why we recommend this be put on the agenda.
Thank you. Questions? Concerns? If not, I entertain a motion to ratify the submission of concerning the PFAS litigation by One Waterworks and West Point Waterworks. Motion by Clive. Seconded by Zena. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion's approved. Next item up is recommendation from the committee. Information, the executive committee has met on I think it was July 12th. And the information on the executive director search. Mark Peterson, since our last meeting in the end of June, Mark Peterson from GovHR, the one-on-one contacts with all of the board members, plus similar conversations with Christina, Amy, Ted, and Neil, as well as a local conversation with the technical committee members in attendance. He was very pleased and impressed with the quality of those conversations and the feedback that he got received from all of the participants. The position announcement will be forthcoming any hour now. We thought we'd have it by the time called the meeting, or if it's not here yet, but at least I didn't see it at 2:45. So, we're a few days behind schedule, but nothing to worry about. We still have plenty of time to still have the applications due by the end of business on August 23rd. The executive committee will review the draft of the position description. The one item that we need to make sure that we, on the executive committee, we can talk through is the salary rate. Mark received feedback from a significant number of the participants that this was going to be a job that was going to have a hefty salary range. It's just depending on how high the hefty number is probably the conversation that the executive committee will have. Also related to that, the, position brochure, Marcus reached out to, I know to Melissa and Jamie Wright yesterday, and they've got a meeting, a Zoom meeting scheduled for tomorrow, I understand. And they're going to work with, jointly to put together the, language that Mark needs as far as the, position itself. And then what the, teams here can do, with the, pretty pictures and the descriptions of the CIWW accounts for all of that. A lot of the labor has been done in the past, and so they need to marry those two together. And again, the goal is to have, applications received by August 23rd, and the search then would be, included by actions by this board, end of September or October. Same time that I hear, the June meeting. Any questions about the executive director, recruitment search process? Bill, did you have anything on that one to relate to?
You've said exactly what I was going to say, Jody. Thank you.
Okay. Bill's in, are you in Germany yet?
I'm in Croatia.
Croatia.
But happy to be here with you. Yes, we can see the Adriatic. It's lovely, but it's 10 o'clock at night, so we put the ocean to bed. We're working on grandchildren. They're not as easy to deal with. So yes, that's exactly what I wanted to highlight on the executive director search, and with the hope that we have a final recommendation to this board in September.
The position that's on, other note on the agenda is the executive assistant, recruitment, and Amy sent out a, email yesterday. With that, the executive committee had a detailed discussion on that at our July 12th meeting. We're not sure that this is going to be a full-time position yet, maybe a part-time from the beginning, and maybe a part-time after we get to the beginning. It all depends on a lot of different factors that we need to have somebody on for sooner rather than later to relieve some of the pressure that's on the board clerks trying to put all the CIW packets together, and the technical committee and the executive committee and the finance committee, and still do the work that they're doing for their respective entities. So, we had a short discussion on the benefit package, comparing like the Point Waterworks, West Point Waterworks, and name Waukee, a couple others. We're fairly confident that the person that's going to be covered by Agris would be up. Unless you got the Agris letter in the last few hours.
I did just hear from them today, and we expect it within the next couple of weeks.
So I can't imagine there'll be another yes, but we need to wait until we get the paperwork.
And then you go with this position and
The executive director. There was the most significant conversation was about the salary range, position description that was sent out. It noted $75,000 to $100,000. That looked high in the beginning, but then when we started discussing what the responsibilities of this person, it's more in line with that of a city clerk, and all of the duties of the city clerk does for all of our communities, other than the districts. And there's a lot of detail that person's got to be responsible for, plus going to all the meetings. And so we asked the Wine Waterworks HR staff to do a salary survey, and when that came back, it was 75 to 100 as well within that range. So that was the loose end that we had after our July 12th conversation. So I think I covered everything. Bill, if I missed anything on the executive assistant?
Just wanted to say the responses are expected on the 6th of August, and we'll hope to have a recommendation to the executive committee by Labor Day at least.
Questions? Comments? If not, both of those items are for information, and now we'll go on to Finance and Audit Committee. You know, Scott's here, but I also know that Amy and others are ready to make those presentations, so you have a comfort level, Scott?
One way to make my notes that I would just repeat them. Many of the items we discussed today are on you all agenda tonight. We reviewed the proposed meter cash service link on the division responsibilities and gave the staff the authorization to issue an RFP for county services. This was sent to about a dozen firms. Proposal utilizes existing metering infrastructure that one borrower has, and not cost to do the meter cash working will be low to save CIWW time and money over the next 6 months. The accounting side will provide that separation of insurance that everybody will want to see CIWW level. We're reviewing the RFP responses in our next finance and audit committee.
Amy, you want to talk about the resolution that's on for the PFM engagement letter and so forth?
PFM, and specifically Matt, has been trusted advisor to Central Iowa Waterworks for many months, and we worked with Matt through the startup and the initial modeling and so forth. At your April meeting, this board authorized the executive committee to negotiate an agreement with PFM, and so Matt has provided the scope of services that is included in your packet. In summary, it really, supports all of the tasks from a financial perspective necessary to get us up to operational commencement, including some work with the asset transfers, and the asset transfer to a calculation, which is kind of a beast. So Matt will be updating that, making recommendation on initial rates once he receives the operating and capital budgets from the water producing members. Validating the annual demand by each of our members, and really just doing other necessary things to get us built for operations. So the services will be billed at an hourly rate not to exceed $150,000, and that estimates that will extend 12 to 18 months. We are asking for a resolution to return to
Questions of Amy or the finance committee? Now I entertain resolution 5.
Second.
Next, second by Anthony. All those in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, say no. Resolution's approved. The second item under the B is the approval of the interim 2024 budget. We have those numbers in the packet. So, Amy?
Yeah, the 2080 talks about an initial budget being created that comprises the period that we're in after the effective date to the end of this year, and then also from operational commencement date to the first calendar year. And as I mentioned in the last item, we are still working on the budget for next year, calendar year. So that part isn't quite ready, but we felt like we should do an interim budget for the period for the remainder of 2024. So the Finance and Audit Committee reviewed the interim budget that you have in your packet that extends from May until December. Total resources are primarily our initial capital contributions with a little bit of interest earnings. So just a little over $2 million. And then we show expenditures by line item. The primary expenditures you can see there are legal services. There's a lot to do to get up and standing. So we are benefiting from a good team of attorneys and legal counsel, some wages, and then just some other business-related expenses. I would draw your attention to the line item, second from the bottom, 2080 reimbursement. You'll note that we've slotted in there $863,000 in December. Those are for expenses that primarily West Des Moines Water Works and Urbandale Water Utility incurred prior to us officially organizing. And the 2080 said that CIWW would reimburse those entities. The 2080 said that they should be reimbursed or must be reimbursed within 12 months of operational commencement. So we have some time to pay those, but I have still included them in this budget so we don't lose sight of them. But they would be available as we need cash flow. There's some flexibility in paying that line item. So the ending cash, if we meet this budget, would be about $400,000 with the potential for about $850,000 more than that. So, as I mentioned, this was reviewed in finance and audit and requested to do modifications in those.
Questions of Amy or the finance committee about the proposed budget? 2024 budget, I should say.
Amy, I have just a couple of quick questions. Obviously, we just passed a resolution regarding TFM. Was that taken into account with regard to consulting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the cost.
And then did we also estimate then salaries for both that and director? Is that why the big bump starting August?
That's right. I think the executive assistant is in there beginning in August, and then the executive director beginning in November.
Thank you.
Good question. Other questions? Not entertain a motion to approve the interim 2024 budget.
Second.
Vote Des Moines, seconded by Costa. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Then our budget's approved. Item B3, Point Water Works providing meter detached services. Amy?
Des Moines Water Works as the wholesale provider of most members, including Grimes, of course. But we are providing, Des Moines Water Works is providing metering and billing services, and we're doing as a wholesale provider of those services. When we become operational at Central Iowa Water Works, that will become Central Iowa Water Works' responsibility to do the wholesale billing and so forth. Because Des Moines Water Works already has an automated system set up, we have the billing system set up. We are doing this service frankly for the city of Des Moines and other cities that we serve on a total service basis. It felt that, as Scott mentioned, in reporting on the minutes, that it would be fastest and probably lowest cost for Des Moines Water Works to be contracted to continue providing those services for wholesale use. There will need to be some manual entries for water producers, Grimes, and really all of the producers, because we don't meter the entire supply from each of those producers. So we will need to make some entries manually, and that's not a problem. These services would be included in Des Moines Water Works production costs, and so they've already been incorporated in the modeling that Matt has been performing. And so there are really no additional costs beyond what we've already planned for. Des Moines Water Works would request not to exceed $5,000 one-time implementation fee, and that would be for the design of a new billing statement with CIWW logo and some system changes that we need to make. It is recommended that the board authorize staff to proceed with developing some sort of an agreement for the services to be provided by.
So aiming it for the finance committee on the recommendation.
Amy, you mentioned that there would have to be some manual entry for those other water producers. And I apologize, this is not my level of engineering expertise whatsoever, but has there been anything directed to the technical committee about potentially adding meters with regard to those water producers so that we're not having to rely on manual transfer of data, so that one party could in essence oversee the entire process.
There may be opportunity for, some automated meter reading. Some of those meters that are going to be, production meters, which don't always coexist well with automated meter reading that's intended for, smaller size meters. So I think we'll do as much of the automation as we can. Des Moines Water Works, as an example, though, there's no real way for us to meter the information that we are using on our own because we are surveying the entire region. And so there will need to be a manual entry regardless, or if nothing else, Des Moines Water Works. So I think it's a great question, and to the extent that we can automate that, we will certainly try. But we are prepared if we can to make this.
Thank you.
Further questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve the recommendation for Des Moines Water Works providing the meter to cash services and to authorize the documentation on the $5,000 not to exceed cost. Five. Second. Second by Anthony. All those in favor of the motion will indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion's approved. Technical committee. 5-year draft improvement plan. My notes say Ted and Christine are gonna handle that. So don't know which one's first.
I'll go first. Every year we update our 5-year strategy, the current year in the next 4 years, in the next 5 years. This current 5-year CIP has been shared in some detail with the technical committee and also with the review with finance and audit committee. We're providing here today basically just for information to the board, but I wanted to just step through the first page here, which is the Des Moines Water Works 5-year CIP. Just call the board's attention to the fact that it's basically divided up into categories based on the facility in question. So the first grouping of projects there is the Blue Dry Treatment Plant. Those are projects that I would put in kind of the run category that's needing to update or replace to maintain the efficiency and effectiveness of the Blue Dry Treatment Plant. So you'll see a lot of improvement of new projects there. The next grouping is the Maffitt Water Treatment Plant or the Mullen Water Treatment Plant. At Redwood, you'll see 4 projects there, 4 kinds of things, running and maintaining. When you get to the third grouping there with the Saylorville Water Treatment Plant, you start to see costs in there for the expansion of the Saylorville plant. So the first 2 projects there are the raw water costs for the 10 GBP expansion, and then the second item is plant expansion or the actual treatment expansion. Across the board there. That's some additional kind of run and maintain. We have the collector wells replacing new ethanol membranes, sort of ongoing maintenance costs. The next category is labeled capacity expansion. Those are projects that we're going to do not at the Saylorville treatment plant, but they're related to expanding the capacity of the system. Then we get into some core network, metering or transmission projects, facility management. Those are projects that aren't necessarily related to treatment, but they're at facilities with things like roofs and levees, building improvements. And then the last category on this page is shared capital projects. That is, I guess, actually where the roofing replacement vehicles and equipment, things that aren't related to source treatment or transmission specifically, but they are related to facilities and equipment that will be used or shared. And those will be allocated to CIWW based on percent usage or how much the particular facility is involved in providing services with centralized water to provide. You can see the spending over time during the 5 years and then the total, the grand total for Des Moines Water is CIP over the next 5 years is about $230 million. Yes. Now, so any questions you might have about any of that or how it played out, or we'll be done with this community stuff.
So Similar to what I said, on the back page is a list of the West Des Moines Waterworks projects. Many of these projects are projects that were identified in the 2019 facility plan that we had done at the waterworks. And so, until we have a new facility plan for the entire CIWW, both Des Moines Waterworks and West Des Moines Waterworks, a lot of our projects are modeling off those plans that exist. And so probably the big project, again, a lot of these are called maintenance of facilities projects, things like structural improvements to take the facility type improvements that need to happen. You know, mechanical systems that age out and need to be replaced. Are the two I mentioned the shallow well construction or a project that's related to PFAS. We have a number of wells that have been affected by PFAS, but we have specifically 3 wells that we do not operate all at the same time. So there's some operational strategy there to make sure that we stay underneath the PFAS limit. And as a result of that, that has really impacted our source water capacity. And so we are looking for new wells to drill, either shallow wells about 50 feet deep, that are ideally PFAS free, so we don't have that issue. That's been a challenge for us. We're hopeful this last site that we identified will be successful. We don't identify how we're going to fund these projects. That's going to come later. But one thing besides the PFAS settlement is grant money through the DNR that is available for PFAS mitigation type effort. So we'll be looking at that to see if we can take advantage of those funds. And then the other big project that you see is primarily the year 5 is the deep well construction. Eventually, we have a deep well that has been cased a number of times and kind of reaching the end of its useful life. Unfortunately, when you drill 2,500 feet deep, it's expensive. And so we anticipate that happening over a couple of years, but right now, I mean, I would anticipate it be around 12 million, 10 to 12 million to drill that well. They last a long time, they're good producers, so that's good. So total for 5 years for West Des Moines is 20.8 million. I did talk to Grimes and Polk City, and I agreed to mention a couple of things for them. A lot of Polk City and Grimes projects are, again, those routine maintenance projects, and Kevin shared that the projects listed for Grimes are primarily focused on the line plant, which is the older plant at Grimes. And then Polk City, again, a smaller facility, so just those maintenance upgrades that you need to keep that facility operational, all fairly small at 170,000. So, and so you see the grand total we're showing for all the producers right now is 254 million over 5 years. If you look at the back page, it's kind of broken out by the capacity projects and the joint capital projects. And if you recall, and if you really have been reading your 2080, you'll remember that those get funded separately in a different formula. And that's what we hired Matt to do, is to go through 2080. So expansion in that 91.9 and joint capital in the base capacity. So we broke those out just to kind of show the breakdown of the different categories of projects. Probably the only thing to note here is that many of you know that the technical committee is ongoing with HDR to do the future expansion project. And so when that study is done, those results will get incorporated into this CIP. So as with many other communities and utilities, CIPs are a working document that continue to change based on our needs. So, but we wanted to get that together. We need this as a critical piece for setting the rates for CIWW. And so what you see is the draft that I need.
I think it's worth mentioning the process here and the difference between this year and coming years. The plan here now is provide this draft CIP to BFM. They're going to use that and establish rates. And then this will come back to the board for actual approval once we know what the rates they're in place to fund the CIP for this year or this coming year. In the future, and this is outlined in the memo, we're planning to do this much earlier in the year so that we'll be able to bring the CIP to the board for approval in April. So we can use it in rates and profits at the right time of year, but because the agreement was signed in April and then we have to do all this work, bring it to kind of late in the process. We'll put that in this there.
We're all adjusting to the new deadlines.
Yeah, kind of shuffling it back a little bit this year. Any questions about
I just had one question of that. Anything in this document that you weren't aware of?
No, I mean, largely, most of these projects were included in the analysis that we did here. Some of the amounts of housing shifted a little bit. So the second year there, there's kind of a peak. Build some of that into the rates earlier, issue some additional debt for it, or figure out how to smooth it out. So, but there's nothing in here that's surprising from a year ago. See, things change all the time. Cost of service, what we said, Central Water was going to cost a year ago. I think we're certainly still in line with that from a capital perspective. As we said. So,
Questions? Hearing or seeing none, that was an informational item, so no action needed. The next item says interim executive director report, Bill. And I know that Jamie's going to be setting up the website demo, but you go ahead with your report if you would, please.
Well, my report is that I'm delighted to have the website taking shape and ready to launch. And we get to look at it now. Jamie, you want to go ahead and talk about it as you show us what we have? And thanks to you and all the people who worked on it with you.
I didn't thank Melissa for, we had a meeting on last Friday and she came to the table with a lot of content that I didn't, so. So thank you. So what you're looking at here is basically what you would see on a desktop. We perfect the desktop and then it goes into responsive design and you'll be able to see it on your phone and your tablet. If you look at this right now on your phone, I'm pretty able what you can see. So I haven't sent the link to everyone, and if you when you look at it, don't try to look at it on your keyboard phone. Okay, so this is just a home page. And the home page is, it has scrolling pictures or from various from the various members. So for this one, we needed something with water doing something in it. So I don't want to see like the rest of them are slide by. Brian's Johnson, and all that. Of course, when we talk about CIWW, there are three words that we say over and over again: cooperation, resilient, planning. So those are right up front here. As you keep scrolling, you get a little bit of about us. We format 12 entities, and that was 11. And everyone, and just reminding people of why we're doing cooperation, shared government, resiliency, local independence, regional water protection, and a unified voice and source water. That should say protection instead of production. So one of the many changes every time I read this. Learn more. There's always on the home page, there's always something inside. This is just a showing that we're working on doing things and we will move you into the. And then, where we only have really big news releases regarding CIWW, we will. We have actually a communications plan put together, and some of those items may start to populate this. This is where we are, if we can be an FT and this meeting, and then the meeting maybe level. News release that one. We don't really have any events, but we do have, Honey reached out to us about this event that's going to be held in Valley Junction. And it actually does, Grimes is involved, anybody who is working with the watershed involved. And they're just a bit of a goal. I'm up here, like it's Ravada. You can read all those as you go. I mean, we knew everything. A little more information about it. The founding documents there. Sorry, it still doesn't really load this slow. Oh, like that. So that gets you to the 2080. By the way, that's really good reading. Every time I was lacking content, I just went to 28. And here's that interesting. Remember we were and then we put some history, and this is actually not done right. They had it organized in a certain way, and they asked us to do it this way, and we have too many dates, so this will be when you go in, and this is probably changing fairly significantly. There will also be photos more populated. And then here are the 12 founding members. And then how CIWW works, we have a facilities page. So here are all the facilities that are being transferred to CIWW, or it's not the water treatments. And then we have a water quality page. At this point, this is really just linking to Des Moines, Grimes, Cook City, and Des Moines water pages because the CIWW water quality. Projects. We have 2 up so far, but I know there'll be many, many more. I mean, and if you open this, more and more, and it's an entire page of information. So some of these, there are clearly some changes that were made that didn't publish correctly, but those are the things we're working on. Fake use. I can't remember. These are FAQs that so they're the various we have in the together to ask a question and where the founders, founding entities. Those are just all answers. There are not pictures in here. The pictures could be added or even a video. So in the future, if we wanted to add like water treatment, we can use some of the water treatment assets that the White House for swimming water treatment. And anyone else. Governance, Board of Trustees. All of the committees are on here. You can see, Dan Lovett, I was very surprised by how loud. It's not.
I think you really did that.
Why is he seeing you, but he can clearly be a body? Okay, thank you. Anyway, all of these will go into and into your bio. A couple of these, I don't have a bio for Carol Freeman. You're on, and I apologize. This is actually a photo of my first meeting, and I plucked you out and made a photo. When I haven't received one. I also don't have a bio from Tom Phillips. Those are the things that we reaching out for. We can the meetings and meetings here. In download.
Going back to April.
Yeah, this is April. It goes from April and all the other. I have to go to different.
No, I just opened the new tab and have a hard time.
So report package, you get down in the minutes. And you know, we'll continue to add all the things to the end of the year. And there's been a part of it. I know we do tape. The board meetings, I don't know if you have it available on the page, you can certainly do that. And then the various other committees around here as well. In this case, this is just looking at, we're making it slightly different table, I guess, because I don't know that we're actually putting out a date for like the executive meeting here. I guess technically they're public, but according to the 2080, sort of like 2 days notice. So we'll do that table. And all of these will be populated with their meetings. They really are big on pictures. I don't have photos of all of the people in these meetings, so I don't know what you all think. You all like your photos off with the side or not. And I'm happy just to have them be names with brief bios. So I'll the technical committee is also the same way where I have the information, but I don't have photos for everyone. I have photos for a few people that have kind of so I think I read some big talk to news and events. And it goes back to this, to read all the news press releases. And the same with our one events. I will probably go ahead and add the executive events that I will add the board meeting and have a link there. These board meetings are an event. And oh, you know, the project. The projects that we have up right now are the ones that I think maybe going up that should be other, just please let me know.
So,
So Jamie, under contact, if a Rotary Club or some community group would like to be in touch, who are they directed?
Okay, so right now they are directed. You need help? It's not- Thinking about it. Okay. It goes to, if you want a tour, it goes to the Des Moines Waterworks page at this point. And right now, they fill out a form and it goes to cyberspace until we decide who it goes to. If you all know who you want that to go to, I mean, I don't know. We want it to go to, wait, we have the executive director in place, and then it goes to the executive director again. But it would go to an info type of email, which we don't.
I know Ted's made the rounds to a number of groups that are interested in what's going on with the CIWW, so I was just curious at what point, and I know once we have an ED and we want to have that,
Right.
you know, is there a phone number, is there a mailbox?
I don't, I asked about it just recently. As soon as you have a phone number you wanted to go to, I'm happy with it. We'll leave that on. And if you have an email address that you wanted to go to, we can certainly do that. But at this point, the only thing that contact, you can contact.
Well, we need to, I don't think it's live, but yeah, once we have that information set up, I know we've been working on a CIWW.gov email, it's. I'm not in process.
Right. Because you know, I would say WW one that goes through one waterworks. That we have. Everything else we can do. We can use that one and then.
So that's CIWW without.
And WW.
We can make that live. I don't know that they will see that it's going to Des Moines Waterworks. It will just be huge file. So,
Thank you.
So, I went on to the site to find out when the next meeting of this board would be, that public notice. Where do I need to go over governance and down to, or will it appear on the landing page, or how will that?
right now it appears just under governance, that's what I was talking about, and be sure it's under events. So the events are actually on, they go back to the landing page. So, that's why I was considering putting that on, so I'll take you straight to where you need to be. It's a thing that when you're looking at just two-dimensional site maps, going, we go, oh, yeah, that should go from here to there.
any idea when you're gonna go, I know you said you're gonna send the link out to everybody. But when are you gonna go live,
It'll take them about a day after we say, okay, yeah, we're fine with this. To make sure that responsive design is working, and then it'll be live.
so for sure it'll be live by August 14th.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Ours will be next week, but.
The reason I was asking, I think I make this executive, when we do go live, then I think we need to have a agenda item that takes the responsibility to post away from Des Moines, West Point, the other end, and puts it on the CIWW website, so where it's supposed to be.
And they're actually using the back end of it. As long as you're not doing massive amounts of content. Because there are some things that there are steps that you have to publish every step or it doesn't all publish correctly. But the stuff that somebody would be doing just dealing with the minutes and meetings and things like that is very easy, and there are videos on the site that show you how to. As well as part of our web contract, so they'll do training with whomever we decide. to do. Any ideas?
Go ahead.
I hope when it goes live, then, and we have notice that it's live, we'll each take the opportunity to help people in our organization and city council members that it is live.
It might be worth us sending out a notice to just some of the media too. So they don't know, yeah. I think as you can tell, you're getting coverage and you don't know that anybody can cover, but it's always, yeah, it's part of us, you know, the journey of getting at this, Christine said to. Right,
Well, certainly as we're searching for an ED, this would be a great source for them to go to. You know, to better understand the organization, read 2080, to see if they're interested.
And the homepage, which is that kind of scroll thing, we can actually, as soon as we can post the jobs that we're to right at the bottom of that with contact information, etc. So.
I think it might be beneficial somewhere, without a lot of digging. At first I was thinking the FAQ, but I really think it should probably be somewhere more present and visible. If someone outside of our area is visiting, this is very important to see from a governance perspective and the structure. But if someone actually needed information about their water service, or if they're moving, or just trying to solicit information as they come to this region, we somehow need to be able to spell out that they still need to contact the individual providers or resellers of the water. And I don't want to turn off folks who otherwise are frustrated on how to get that.
So founding and page has everybody, all the founders, their logos, and those pages can all link back to their respective pages, which is where anybody who's going to get water is going to get it from.
I just don't know that someone who is planning to move to central Iowa knows that they should follow the founding entities and read that down. This is almost novel. And so I think we need to be very explicit about looking for water for your home, or whatever, and then break out that page.
You know, a great model for that would be like voter registration, where you put your address in and it gives you all the information you need. So I think that's a great one. We don't want to confuse them. They're moving.
Anything you or Melissa need from this group, Jamie?
Well, I would love to have just some feedback about, you know, like on the founding members page, there's a little blurb about each founder. Some of them I literally made it up based off whatever they might have had on the website. So I could look at that and maybe if there's something that would have. And if you want contact information on how you get water, you know, are you thinking that's on the homepage?
I struggle about putting it on the homepage too blatant, but at the same point, I want it pretty blatant because I don't want to frustrate them and go too deep. So to some extent, I want to get them off of this page and get them where they can find solution.
Sure. Okay.
Another suggestion for down the road, I'm an alternate, so you can take all my suggestions for what the word or less. But I was fascinated and certainly appreciated Ted's discussion last meeting, really about nitrate levels, reporting, or technical type stuff. At some point in time, that may actually be rather beneficial to have some of that, or even refer back to federal statute with regard to some of that notification, from that standpoint. I really think that this could and should be a one source repository that's gonna farm out for them. But if media is going to start getting press releases that say nitrate levels are other, could we have that? Could we also have the every other day watering cycle? Does that need to actually be spread out eventually everywhere? I granted, some of these need to be decisions that are more made by the entire board, but I don't think it's out of the realm of CIWW to even start talking about, you know, non-water consuming landscaping procedures and things like that. In other words, really bring it down to the citizen level. Again, this is great for politicians and those who sit around here, but ultimately, we need to start putting into perspective what it means to be a water consumer, but also a water conservative. So, and any place and every place we do that.
Okay.
But again,
Good sense.
I think that was a good little opportunity. I mean, I think what you've done so far is wonderful for getting itself and rolling. But I agree with you, and things like PFAS, people hear about it on the news and.
Right, actually, I was thinking it's really weird. Oh, well, now Central Iowa actually does have PFAS. It has something to say about. Before it was point markers, 5 point markers. So, yeah. I agree.
please don't take these comments. I love the visuals of it.
No.
Especially that one visual of that.
I see.
Any other questions? And I will send the link to everyone. You can read it if you want, but if you have any changes, then let me know. Melissa is taking notes right now, and so we'll get together and we will work on adding and subtracting.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that update. Came a long way to back, so.
Yeah.
Producers report, nitrate update.
Yes, the nitrate update is good news. This month, you probably all have seen through one communication channel or another that we were able to take nitrate and move the facility offline on the 12th of July after 66 days of operation. So the nitrate concentrations have continued to drop pretty dramatically since then. So I think it's safe to say we're out of the woods there. This year, 66 days of operation is probably over $500,000 in costs for us all. So that's not a great thing, but it's better than 200 days of operation, 177, which was a record year of operation. So we're in good shape there. I'll also say that, you know, water levels are coming down in Sayreville pretty safely. That's looking like it's headed in the right direction. On the Raccoon Rivers, it's coming down. I've seen some sand lined out there already. Actually, I'm starting to see a little microsystem in the Des Moines River. Not problematic levels yet. We won't get into a lot of detail on that, but every day that we don't have something to worry about from a water quality perspective. So nitrates are good. If I might show you Jim,
Sure.
just mentioned the tour also, a reminder that we are going to do the CIWW treatment plant. Kyle Mann will be your guide on the 31st of July. We have a good group signed up. I think Melissa shared out. We have signed up. If you're interested in participating in that tour the 31st of July, I'm confident we'll find it interesting.
Great. Christina, anything to add?
With the nitrate dropping, we've returned to normal operations.
And I will, one more thing, if I might, demand has been very moderate because of the kind of regular rain we've had. It really picked up dramatically. So people are starting to plan for the heat in the coming week and get water.
questions of? No, Kyle?
Give a very brief update on the technical committee. A lot of this has already been covered in some of the discussion, but the technical committee presented by all of the water producers on our 5-year CIP plan, which we reviewed, that plan. We also discussed this month the PFAS settlement. Want to make sure that everyone in the technical committee was familiar with PFAS settlement and what that entails, as we discussed today. Update on the Taylorville expansion project. The Hickman hearing is still under design, working with the DOT. That's a challenging corridor on Hickman, going starting from North Bay Road, going west. Hopefully that will be out bid later this year, early next year. We'll cover a little bit on the construction of the other next slide, please. Here's construction of the feeder main. Last month, shared they were doing the borings and the tunneling under the road. Finally received some of the pipes, so here they're starting to install some of the pipe. Goal is to have this pipeline in service before spring of next year, so we can use it to send water from the Saylorville plant out west, even before the expansion is complete. So the construction well underway, done 48-inch pipe being installed into the casing of the tunnel. Next slide.
Under what road was that going?
I think that is Romney Road.
Okay.
On the long range plan, the committee is reviewing several sections of the HDR report for a long-term viability of getting water out to our members. We talked about last month, we're looking at 2 alternatives. Big difference between those 2 alternatives of whether expand Sailor McMullen water treatment plant, or we build a western water treatment plant. Next slide. We spent a lot of time at the last meeting looking at improvements need to be made based on those options. Much of what's on there is the red needs to be done either 2 options. If you focus on the bottom left of the slide, this is the McMullen portion. There's an orange line of transmission that would need to be done in that option. For the next slide, please. This is the western plant where you see blue on the bottom left, what transmission is needed there. So the vast majority of the transmission mains or improvements, distribution improvements, will need to be made on either of the 2 options. We're working with HDR to look at the modeling to make sure that we can get the water delivered in the pumping station connections to all communities, be able to provide water out to 2050. So a lot of work being done on that, working with HDR and trying to finish up that report that will be shared in the next several weeks. Okay,
Questions and thoughts? Just from a personal perspective, Kyle, Dave, I appreciate getting that packet. This was very long. Good. Thank you. Long range planning and capital improvements committee has been formed, but hasn't met yet, so nothing really to report on that item. And Scott, anything else on finance that you'd like to talk about?
Good.
Okay. Any other business? I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce Jim Wine. He's the attorney that's working on all the legal documents to transfer the properties and assets to CIWW by the end of the calendar. So, Jim, you want to say anything?
No, I'm excited to be working on it, basically doing this and working closely. Right there.
Anything else to go to the order? If not, we're trying to figure out what the time is. 4:09. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Bill.